to the restaurant on
Gilforno?
California. Did you ask them? And
I don't know. I just asked him and told Fred to talk to him. So I didn't.
contacted them and they said they don't know when he comes there. They're in committee. So I thought I'd see you here tonight. I asked you.
I was there almost every night last week. What did I think?
What's there? No, check. But
Vanessa goes there every night and I.
I just tried to test it. Test.
I hear something.
Yeah.
I heard you.
I heard a reverb. Okay.
Yeah. It says that I'm connected to it.
every night you sleep with who?
I go there. No, I go there. I can see the nation. Yeah.
All those ones like next to the sidewalk. All made.
All right, so-
All the sidewalk, like in front of the party, are those all made by?
The man that Fred.
Uh-oh.
Was he there?
That actually benefited well. Tree love this. He's more predictive. Yeah, yeah. Get a private tree.
Basically, private property owners can't do anything.
Can't do
Get a medium weight. I.
Yeah, you're doing. Bird is doing it. I think it could happen. 6 5 days. So we're going to get back to that. So really want to protect the environment and do the right thing. You want to do something that's fair to everybody.
Are ones on the sidewalk?
Like Pasadena does.
Are ones on the sidewalk public property? Are ones on the sidewalk in front of like apartment buildings public property, or are they? Okay.
And people that want to take them down, they got to come to us. They get an okay, and they got to replace them. Sometimes it's not
That's a problem.
For no reason. Oh, our wonderful landscapes.
Wow, I've had it back here in
So it would be perfect.
You don't have to
Here,
I mean,
should have good enough.
make it to be a night.
Because care.
Yeah,
And don't have a real big.
Right.
So we have to deny.
And then it fell. No, you're good.
Nope, I'm not in the way. I really.
No, you're not. And then the tree fell a week later.
No,
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I see. That makes.
Oh, the tree went like.
I'm getting a lot of.
Right.
Yeah,
But
that's
you think that.
How many people are on?
I'm.
Steiner, but she was voting Steiner.
Something that that's. And they.
Who put it tired?
Try to. Wow, I just feel honored to be on the down here.
No, but it says on the.
Yeah.
Guy, 3. There's something, most people back in the 103. When you see climate change, you see these editorials, all solar energy, and this and that. But they rarely mention plant more trees. They should be planting such and such for the Olympics. Karen Bass has said that now. And I think we're starting to do that. Somehow people have to realize that it's a symbiotic relationship. They give us the oxygen.
Right. Didn't we plant all those palm trees for the '84 Olympics?
Yeah, I only went to the Norwegian for 12 days, but I like that. I was a broke book saying, so I got to get out of that. He came back. I had a nice $15.
I'm not out of car. I always take public
Do
transit.
you still not have a car?
Never even had a driver's license. I get around.
Good for you.
Yeah, I understand that. Okay. Great. Hey, the first fair for anyone that has a bike, especially seniors. I'll ride with them just to show them how easy it is. Check the app, check the schedule, get on. I pay $19 to ride unlimited every month. Imagine, don't have to pay for parking, insurance, maintenance, aggressive driving, on gas money. Just sit back, close your eyes, meditate, or do something.
Right.
You have a great
Right.
Ever been the best in America? 5 times.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Where are they? $2 by half car.
Bam.
Absolutely.
You can use on the metro as well.
And my wife,
Is he still,
art therapy.
he is still working? Good.
Yeah.
So my thing is, I didn't feel like that would go either to the managed for college.
I try to.
Good. I'm glad for people are.
Me too.
more involved. Yeah, which is fabulous. She has a really good newsletter while you're in it to sign up
2
for.
years ago, 2 weeks after that, she sold her van, took the bus,
Yeah, they are really great. Send me the link together.
and after she passed away, the bus drivers came to her memorial. She got a proclamation for Mary Davis. These two came, hundreds of people, and they planted a tree in her memory called the Tree of Gratitude.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, that's good to know.
Means for everything. I still have her wedding ring
I
on.
don't know. Feels like a crap.
All I know is he did a big write-up about her on his Facebook page.
I haven't decided. I haven't not
So
decided.
we get on the bus, and all the drivers knew her, her,
Yes, I do.
loving, love person.
Very unfortunately.
Who is talking?
It's stare at her. She was that kind of person. She had to be an angel, tolerate.
It's
on there.
Oh,
I mean, unbelievable. That's why they planted a tree called the Tree of Gratitude. That was her main thing. No matter how bad, something to be grateful.
Here's their business.
Remember, one negative thing she ever did in 40 years before marriage. And when she got the pancreatic cancer, it's in such pain, and even I had to strap her in the bed. It was like horrible, and I still have images. And, that is for anyone. I was a lucky guy, and all that. So she's the one that should have been on the not me. So I'm trying to do the best thing, and she's the one behind to do all this stuff. Somehow I seem to get the credit for it because I go to the meetings. You know what I mean? Where is that? Nathan Fisher one. It's right near the pier.
Because I've seen it.
Yes, I have pictures of it right on my Facebook page. It's a beautiful plaque. As soon as the city heard it, former city, they We met at a coffee place. Really quick. It was our bar for then, our last. That's it.
We're always hiring.
We're most of that, even though we met her twice.
Yeah.
Everybody has to rotate all of them.
It took an hour and a half off of the schedule. Walked through Thompson Park, walked out to the pier, picked out a location, so they'll take the whole bill. Hundreds of people came, I had 3 people. It was a beautiful ceremony. And the food looked fantastic. It was planned on Earth Day 3 years ago. It's really grown good, and it's right near another tree that my wife was instrumental in getting called the Children's Tree of Life. It was like one of the first heritage trees in the Heritage Tree Program. We got our late mayor, Ken Edwards, to proclaim it a living monument to world peace. I still have the proclamation from the mayor and council back in 1984, year after we planted it. And we were 40 years ago, we had 400 people, and the LA Times came and did a big story. All this stuff. Bump into her, meet her, been together. That was it. We never partied. And I asked her to marry me, and she says yes. But no. Unbelievable. She had delirium and screaming, but the movie The Exorcist. Cursing out, lawyers, cursing me out. She hated me. It was a strapper, crying, and then when they calmed her down, people would be calling her friends. But you grew up in New York. Remember her.
She will not.
There's on the phone. She's so compassionate. She did everyone. They did a few stories in the local paper.
Thanks for coming to say hi. You never stop.
I'm going to email you.
The moment that I got her home.
Yeah.
Every talk, I want to let you know.
She does look at you like you're
Friend
not
you are.
leaving.
Yeah, well, she doesn't. People that loved her, even though some of them hadn't seen her in years. That's the kind of person she was.
Really?
Anybody who knows it that met her, you could ask Judy. She knew her. Everybody that knew her, if you would have met her, you would have taken me aside. And taken her seats. Hello. That's it. Please sit down. Hey, I want to witness. Yes, man. I'm glad you made trees.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you.
Let's see.
All right. So before we go on, I just want to check in with our friends online. Isabel or John, can you hear us? Isabel or John, can you hear us?
Oh, that's not the owl is way better.
Oh, this is weird.
Okay. We can all hear each other. Isabel, John, if you have a problem, let us know. And you would call. Okay.
This is.
I can hear.
Oh, you can hear?
Yes.
was gonna call you.
Sorry, I was like, I think they're saying Isabel, but yes, okay, I can hear.
Can you still hear us if we do it like that? Okay.
I can hear.
Amazing. All right, we did it. We don't need the, owl technology. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. For anyone I haven't met, I'm Robbie Lear. I'll be kind of like acting as the MC. And we have a few exciting guests that are joining us here tonight that, we can kind of go one by one as we get there. But let's start off with our friends from the Santa Monica Police Department. Woo!
For those of you who may not know me, I'm Halima. I'm the crime prevention coordinator for the area. And OPA technically be one of B2, so I'm Hollis and Borough, we're part of the B2 at our. So I'm going to go over a few just little quick things that I saw that stood out to me that I want to talk about with you guys, and then I'll let you guys go into the other information that you have. So we had a robbery that was on the 2000 block of Main Street. So this is actually somebody who was selling a cell phone on Facebook Marketplace. And the reason I wanted to bring this one up is because it's something that a lot of people may be doing or using. And so it's just something to be wary of. The individual met up with someone and the suspect then took the phone and told them, I have people in the vehicle that are going to hurt you and I have a gun. He didn't show him a gun, but told him he had a gun, which was enough for the person to just let him take the cell phone. He got some vehicle information and reported it. He did not report it right away, but we do have, you've heard, we have our smart center. So that was launched after the last couple of meetings, so about mid-April when it was launched. So we do have the ability to see a lot more of the activity in the city. So with that, there is an open investigation right now, and we're using a lot of our smart center technology to identify that. But with that being said, I'm not saying you shouldn't use these forums, but just be very careful of what you do. Meet with somebody, don't necessarily go by yourself, or you can bring someone with you. Be at a very public location where you're not going to be hidden away or in a dark area. So ensure that you're going to create a safe space and met them as quick as you can, as much as you're comfortable doing, and just be aware of those situations. And the other one, another thing that people do that I have done myself is that this individual was in front of Main Street, love that place. She was standing in front saving a parking spot for somebody, so she was just standing waiting for her friend to come move the car there. A vehicle shows up and decides that they want to park there. She tells them, no, I'm saving it for my friend. And they kind of ignore her and try to go around her. She refuses to move. And she's like, no, I'm saving it for my friend. But I guess the language is different depending on who you may be asking, but the car basically does make contact with her. She was not injured, but it did manage to move her in the process. And then she did not report that right away. I think she went maybe the next day to the police to report it, just sort of from the shock of the situation. So with that, also just being aware of like knowing when to stop. You just kind of give it up in that situation. You do not want to engage. We had, I think what was that, a month or two ago, we had the road rage incident that was fatal. And so we never know what people's mentality is going to be. We don't know what their state of mind is. We don't know if they have weapons. And so many of these situations are avoidable. And it's just something to keep in mind to ensure that you're putting your priority, your safety as a priority, and that you're not engaging in situations that could potentially become volatile. We don't know how quickly it can be. Even calling the police, these could be matters of seconds. And something could potentially tragic happen. So just to be aware of that. The last one I wanted to go over was a burglary. Out of the burglaries, there was only one that was a residential burglary. The other were commercial. The residential was at 200 block Beach Street, where multiple electronics and jewelry was taken, about $50,000 worth of the property. And what the homeowner mentioned was that it looked like the kitchen window had been opened, and there was like a dust that looked like it had been moved around, so this is what they entered with. And it's something that when I've ever done a security survey of your properties, when I do my security assessment, it's something that I talk about often, where it's the place you may least expect it. Sometimes people say, oh, I always leave the small bathroom window open just to get some air in here, and that's where they come from. Right, so it's just being aware of that. I'm not saying keep everything sealed. It's not Fort Knox either, but if you're not going to be home, ensure that all windows are closed and locked, that you're not leaving anything even slightly open to give room for any opportunity. And that's what these are. It's not necessarily a targeted thing, right, where people are like, I'm going to go to your home because I know you have this, but that's very unlikely. Not that it's impossible, but most of these scenarios, they're crimes of opportunity. So it's like the gate was open, there happened to be an open window. I tried this knob and it was open. So just those situations, so just double checking and being aware of those surroundings can really make a difference. And unfortunately, in the situation, they did lose quite a lot of property. So just something to be aware of, and a reminder that we do offer security assessments. So if that is something you're interested in, we do it for both residential and businesses. So you can just contact me and I'm happy to set that for you. And that is all on my end. Anything on here?
Ardo, you wanna go?
I have a little bit of homework for you all. So we have a little friendly competition in our office. We have 4 beats, 4 neighborhood resource officers. And I think I'm the one that's way behind on community events. So if you guys have any ideas, any businesses, any friends, anything like that, please email me and crime prevention coordinator Halima and give us those ideas so that we can get out there and engage with the community a little bit more. We would love to see you all. And we'd like you guys to be involved, feel like you have a say and see your guys' ideas come to light. So just a little bit of homework, if you guys can help me out with that.
And to add to that, thank you to those of you that support us at our events. I can see your faces and I'm always so happy to see familiar faces. And it really, really means a lot because, you know, we try to do what we can, events together and be out there for everybody. So it's really nice to see that you guys appreciate that and come out and just say hello to us and talk to us. So if you are available, I know sometimes they're at weird hours. So if you are, we really are grateful for the presence.
So before we take questions, I'm going to be the barometer to make sure that we keep baseline of certain things, because I think police work is a two-way street. Now that we have the Smart Center, that doesn't mean that we have more opportunity for folks to wait to call the police. Our most effective strategy for dealing with crime or things that have just occurred is to call the police right when it happens. You don't need to go home, discuss it with somebody, get on next door, do these 5 different things, because each of those things, the time is ticking and police immediate response can't happen. Also, for work, you know, the Smart Center, we have analysts up there, but we have 2 at any given time, plus the drone operator. It's very hard to whittle down on times. So when you're conducting these long investigations looking for a guy wearing a blue hat, that's a lot of time opposed to the crime just occurred. We know the location. We know where to focus on this 1 hour opposed to 11 hours in the course of 2 different days, because we know what happened in the daytime, but we don't know if it happened on Saturday or we don't know what happened on Sunday. So it is your responsibility, if you know a friend or you're a victim of a friend, to call us immediately and not wait, because Inspector Gadget is he's not a real character. So, and we don't want to play Inspector Gadget. We'd rather play like Columbo or something like that. This crowd. Yeah, Lima doesn't know me. Agni and Lazy or any of those people, but we like to get into. Those are the shows that I grew up watching. Very cool, but Columbo had a lot of time on his hands. Yes, so, and now we'll.
I have a question.
So let's say that I saw a crime or I want to get my house inspected to see if
2 different questions.
I know, but the question is, I saw a crime or I want to get my house inspected to see if I need to do something to make it safer. I can't remember your name or which department it is. What do I call 911? How do I make contact?
Well, if you saw a crime in that moment, you're calling 911 to report that. If you want to have the security assessment, so we're the community affairs team. If you don't have my contact, Robbie will always be able to get that for you. That's kind of the beauty of being part of these associations, that you have these connections. I did not bring a business card with me, but
That's why you come to these meetings, so you have these contacts. Anybody who comes to OPA should know how to contact the police.
right.
Yeah, we'll also put the community resource, the website where it has their email addresses and notes this week.
That's on the police website or
It's on our OPA website.
Oh, on the OPA website, okay.
For the minutes for the meeting.
Social media, if you message us on social media, that's another way to reach us.
Now you have my card,
We're very accessible.
and everything is there. The website, phone number.
All of that. Yeah.
The non-emergency line, if all else fails, call the non-emergency line. They'll put you on hold. I don't know how long. And then you ask them to put you in contact with one of us. they know who we all are.
The card, it goes in order of importance, 911, then it goes non-emergency, then it goes our unit, and then a couple of other things, and investigation. So this is a very important card. It has everything that you need to immediately contact us or to contact us by email. Just put it on your refrigerator.
We highly recommend that you add it as a contact to your phone and save it as your favorites as well, just so that you're not fumbling around looking for the phone number when you need it. Just put it in your favorites.
Gary?
Yes, well, first of all, I just want to compliment you again on that wonderful event on the Santa Monica Pier, the burgers, it's a great event. And I did want to ask about that parking thing, someone reserving, you have to stand there. What's the legality of that? You can't just stand there and reserve a place, right?
So technically, it's an infraction that wasn't committed in our presence, and I think it's 24,400 impeding traffic, but we have to be present to write that citation. But that person was in violation of a vehicle code, but then when the person hit them with the car, that could have been in violation of penal code. So it's just a catastrophe that's happening when you're doing one thing. So then, of course, we're like, oh, the car shouldn't hit you. And ultimately, that person shouldn't have been in the street. The higher totality of the issue, we're not going to say when someone's in the street, they shouldn't be hitting with the car as the solution.
Basically, it's not the same as reserving a seat. Like
No.
or something.
No, you're actually a pedestrian in the roadway, right? Because that is the public roadway. Only thing that can be there stationary is a car or a bicycle or a motorcycle, not a dog or a person or a big cat or anything. I'm on the road today. And I would also like to thank your team for coming to Pier Burger, the Santa Monica. When Santa Monica Tourism comes out and supports an event, I'm always like, yes.
Actually, this relates to tourism. So I guess I'm following up on something that you guys talked about at the last OPA meeting, which was you were talking about, making people feel more secure on the promenade. And I recollect that you mentioned that you've now been using bearing bigger weapons. I believe the word was rifle.
Right.
And then afterwards, I guess I heard through the grapevine, in fact, I think it was my husband, that actually we're talking here semi-automatic weapons. So I want to find out, is that correct? And if it is correct, could that be a bit scary for the tourists?
It depends on where you're from. If you're from Germany, it's not scary at all because they're very, they carry high power rifles around. So if you're from New York City, you're used to it. After September 11th, they deployed high profile weapons for quite some time. The reason why the chief chose to do that, as we're recalling, is in Australia. There was a guy with a high power rifle about 3 or 4 months ago in a high tourist area that's similar to Santa Monica. There were no high power rifles immediately available. And that went on for about 3 or 4 minutes. 3 or 4 minutes is a very long time, and people got hurt. So if you're scared and it's peaceful, we would rather have that than for it to be chaos and violence and no one is around to address the violent behavior. So each one of our patrol vehicles is equipped with a high-powered rifle, semi-automatic. But we're trying to strategically prepare people visually for what they may see during FIFA, what they may see during the Super Bowl or the World Cup, to actually get those type of jitters away and say, these are folks that are highly trained that go to the range and qualify with these weapons. Not just qualification where we have to get perfect on every target or we're not certified in that weapon. That goes for all of our weapon proficiency. So from our handguns to our rifles, and our rifles have scopes on them. So it's actually better that we're shooting a long rifle and even our handgun, the accuracy is better. The ability to address the target in a far motion without getting it close and being able to maintain cover. So it's a better platform should we know that someone has a gun. We're not gonna walk around the street everywhere we go, looking like, GI Jane or anything like that, but, there's some places that high profile, like the promenade, and the pier, that we think we want that, turn.
Maybe time for one more question if there was one.
Uh-oh.
I'll just add, Stephen, to the question about the kids being, can you guys hear me?
What were you gonna say?
Just to add about the possibility of the kids being scared.
I'm sorry.
Sorry, I'll just add to the possibility of kids being scared. That's big on us as the adults to also educate them on police officers are there to keep us safe. And in the event that something happens, they're there to keep us safe. And these are just tools that they may need to use. So just educating them too, because for the most part, kids think that we're cool. Kids think our tools are cool. So as long as we keep that mentality, it's about safety and we are a safe person to be around. I think that would go a long way, just educating them.
Okay, now what you?
Alexis. Hi, nice to meet you. I own a multifamily property. One of my tenants I inherited had the 10-year protective order against her ex-husband. She has since given him access to our gate code, and I have, in the last couple of days, arrested him. But how do I navigate this moving forward?
You can call us, we can help you figure out protection order once you get one, kind of goes both ways. It's not ever.
Only the judge can determine when that's gonna be, when there is a big exception. She can't just suddenly decide.
Okay.
She would be in violation.
And she might be in violation of her lease. I don't know what the lease says. She might need to look into the lease and see. Because Halima used to work in the city attorney's office. And sometimes people like to say, today I don't feel like it. And it's like, oh, that's not what the judge. It's every day unless you go to the court and petition for it to be enforced.
Okay.
You can put it to me, yeah.
Jerry,
Real quick, what is the rule? I mean, people ask me, I still don't know. About open carry in Santa Monica. Is that legal or not legal or what? To carry a gun?
Well, technically, if you're carrying a gun open, you're gonna be stopped by the police. We're not an open carry state like that. Yeah, so there's some states that are open carry states, but there's some people that will try to challenge it under their constitution, right? And we just kind of deal with those. But I worked in North Carolina and it was open carry state. There's the state of California is not.
But it's not right now.
I probably wouldn't.
thanks so much for everything you guys do.
Yeah. May 28th, 12 p.m. is our grand opening for downtown substation. That's going to be the ribbon cutting. The substation is at Santa Monica Place, right next to Tesla. So if you're around, guys.
What time?
12 p.m.
Kathy.
Righty. Hi, everyone. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone, to OPA, because you guys came out and tabled at our fire service day. It was a really great event. We think that we got about 1,500 people out. So it was really well attended, and we just want to say thank you so much for being so supportive and coming out and representing with us. I have a few updates. We have new ambulance operators that have joined. We've hired 8 new ambulance operators that have joined our ambulance operator program. We also have, one second, it's been a very busy month, so I don't know if you guys know this, but our cadets that we had in the 16-week, I had mentioned our firefighter cadets, they graduated on May 2nd. And there's a really nice 9-minute video that talks a little bit about their recruitment process and their journey throughout the 16 weeks. And that's available on our YouTube channel at Santa Monica Fire. We also have now gone to 7 days a week with the advanced provider unit. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to, it's been a very busy 2 weeks since in the fire department this May. We will be having, our fire prevention week will be coming up in October, which is far out, but that's something that I kind of want you to kind of be thinking about because we're going to be coming back with some more programming and a possible other open house. But that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. So I just want to say thank you. And just, share my appreciation for all your support, this weekend.
Any highlights from the event?
No, I thought the event was very well put together. There, it was us in Mid-City, was right next to us, but, we saw a lot of, folks, quite a few Ocean Park residents, so that was nice to be able to connect with them, but, everyone enjoyed the heavy hand burgers, which is also here in Ocean Park, so, even though it wasn't in our neighborhood, it was a couple nice ties to.
And I'd like to say something, because I'm the one that said we're gonna do this. And I want to really thank Tony and his wife, Giselle, my husband Dave, and we couldn't have done it without Chris. Chris, and that I found to be, you were terrific. So they worked with the whole time, and it was a wonderful outing.
Thank you, Ann.
I just want to say again how great the event was, and you guys put this, just seeing the kids in the house, the guy who was helping them with the hose, and the whole thing was just this glorious event. And if you were a kid, it was like being in utopia. It was really nice to see the community come together and the families come and waiting in line to go on the dog. And okay, we had this awesome dog. It was just a really wonderful event. So we thank you for putting that together and making this great day for Santa Monicans and everyone else to come out and have a great time.
Thank you so much. Jerry reminded me too, I want everybody to check their smoke alarms, and if you don't have one, make sure that you sign up for Community Connect. We're really trying to do, we're gonna be targeting, we're working with the, what is it, the aging, what is it, the aging plan that's gonna come out, the disability and aging plan. We're trying to target 1,000 seniors to sign up for Community Connect over the next 3 years, but I would really encourage everyone here to sign up. We want everybody in Santa Monica to sign up. If you don't have a smoke alarm, you can request one through the app there. We have a partnership with American Red Cross, so they will come out and install them in your home for free. Yes, thank you so much. I have one in my hand, but I think I can use I can bring some next time. Maybe I can write it down if you like. You got a piece of paper, I'll write my email down for you.
I think the next thing that we're gonna do is our merchant of the month. I'd like to welcome Sean up to tell a little bit about his story. Brand new business on Main Street, at a venue that some of you guys may recognize. So
Yes, sir. Welcome everybody. I'm founder of Chi Trainer Studio, nature inspired energy wellness studio. So for those of you who don't know what Chi means, it means life force energy, and a trainer, force one's trainer. So we help build your energy up. I'm here to bring amazing energy to Santa Monica, peace, balance, healing, and regeneration. And we do that through ancient practices from the East. So the number one practice I'm starting with is called Tai Chi Gong. It's an ancient 3,300-year-old Tibetan Qigong. It's a practice of breathing and moving. Very simple, very gentle, but very powerful. And it can make you feel really good, heal your body. And the energy is like WD-40 for your joints. I played football, basketball, I've had so many injuries. And so it's all those injuries that led me to discover these practices. And what's significant about Santa Monica was I was at a very low point in life. I had corporate burnout, ruptured my Achilles, it triggered a whole back stuff. Long story short, I was a wreck, physically and mentally. And I went down to the beach right by kind of Sea Colony 2. I'm here all the time, it's my happy place. And I just prayed to everything. I said, hey, please help me heal. And what do you know? Everything answered back, and all these modalities came to me. And so then I took 3-4 years off full time and went to the Santa Monica Mountains. And did all this training there, and so I'm bringing that now to Chi Trainer, through a studio. So if you guys ever want to come try a class, your first class is free. And for tonight, if I have 2 minutes, I'd just like to teach you guys through a little breathing exercise. To breathe in. Is that cool? Is that all right? And so this is called the Tai Chi Gun balance breath. And so what's amazing about the Tai Chi Gun is they practiced it in the exact way for 3,300 years. So passed down from master to student in the same way, and we honor that at the studio. We do offer other Qigong as well. It's a little different, but the Tai Qigong is my favorite. I've been practicing for 5 years, so if you can just start rubbing your belly, hold your hand. This is our inner sun, or solar plex area. So what we're doing is just activating that little energy point right here. And still a little longer. And the breathing is very simple, just in through the nose, out through the mouth. The key is, though, to breathe deep enough to where you breathe into your belly. That's how we get the energy that's in the air. Most of us are just breathing into the lungs, and that's okay. That's how we get the oxygen. To get the chi, you got to breathe into the belly. So as you're breathing, your belly should come up. And as you exhale, it should be strong enough to gently go out. All right, so now that we did that, if you can put both hands down, we're going to do a little pump action. We'll go through butt functions. That's where. So let's inhale through the nose. And as you exhale, just gently pump your stomach. Let's continue. Through the nose. Exhaling through the mouth. As you gently pump your belly. Continue a few more times. Survival. Your hands on your knees and just breathe like that 5 more times through the nose. And now just let your breath just do its own thing. So don't guide it, just sit in it and just let your breath guide the motion. You may feel it's still wanting to breathe deep, or just get shallow. Just follow whatever your breath wants. We'll be ready to come out of that and just shake out a little bit. That's just a little introduction to breathing. I hope it brought you a little peace. And a little balance. God, I'm sweating.
I'm sorry, where on Main Street are you?
2921. So next to, if you remember where Mystic Journey was?
Okay.
Yeah, so Mystic Close, I'm right next door. Yeah.
And do you do Tai Chi inside there?
Yep. Tai Chi going inside the studio. Absolutely. Yep. Very gentle. So the form so Tai Chi, a lot of Tai Chi, and I'll answer your question, is based in the martial arts system. And they're about 300 to 400 years old, the different systems. Tai Chi Gong is the completed form between Tai Chi and Qigong. So the initial class that we do is just the yin, which is a very balanced, peaceful grounding exercise, very gentle and easy. Then it builds into a form that's similar to what you see Tai Chi doing, where they have a continuous form for 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes sometimes, right? Each form. So this is much easier and gentler. Yes.
Do you do any group activities or breathing events like you just did offsite, or do you go and?
I'm open to it. Yeah, because I want to spread this knowledge. It's helped me so much. And I think in this chaotic world that we're all in, it just brings so much peace and grounding and an elevated energy, just happiness. We all need happiness. So I'm open if you have ideas. Yes. I'm also open to doing wellness events for businesses. or a free class just for a specific business that wants to come, just explore. But the studio, just so you know, is precisely energized. So I have the oak wood floors, I have these amazing crystals I actually got from Jeff at Mystic. And we have the plants, we have the water, we have the fire, so it's set up in a precise way, but totally open to going elsewhere.
We'd love to get your contact.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks so much. This is a perfect time to introduce Hunter. It sounds like he's in the role. Sorry. That's all right. But I heard him here. Yeah, of course. So have you met Sean? Sean, Hunter is the Main Street Business Improvement Association. Hey, how are you? Hey, nice to meet you. How's it going? Good. Nice. Very uncomfortable. Hey, how's it going? Good. Sorry, I've been off grid for a little bit. What would you like to know about Main Street? Other than the fact that we have Monopoly coming up on the 24th, and it will be our first entertainment zone, which I'm sure some of you have questions what that is and how that will work. Hit me. What do you got?
I'm sorry, what is Monopoly again?
What is Monopoly?
No, when is it?
Monopoly is the 24th of May.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's the 11th year, miraculously. It's one of our best events, gets the most publicity of all of our events. And it's kind of a culinary tour of Main Street, so restaurants participate. And this year, the big addition, of course, the entertainment zone, which is what has been happening in downtown San Paulo. Yeah. Yes, sir.
That's not a closed street event, right?
It is not.
So how can you do open carry?
It's within the ordinance on the state level, it is allowed.
Yes.
It recently got passed by the city though, right? Are you following along? So like over the last couple of months, we've talked.
Closed up, the street was closed, the traffic,
Oh.
now you're gonna have kind of drunks walking down the sidewalk and walking on the street. I mean, I thought the ordinance was that when the street was closed, then it would be open carry, but now you're gonna have drunks and traffic, you know?
Well, I mean, maybe, but there would be drunks in traffic anyway coming out of certain businesses. We're not anticipating those kinds of problems. The police department has been pretty clear that DTSM's experience has been universally pretty good. There haven't really been many issues with it. And, people walking down the street with, a beer or something, usually isn't gonna increase any level of pedestrian car interaction, but we'll see. Yes, sir.
How are you gonna keep them on the street? How are you gonna stop them getting off, walking through the neighborhoods?
There's signs we're investing in.
Signs.
Well, that's what GTSM has also. And yeah, and we do have security. We will have the exact same thing that GTSM has.
There'll be no extra police on the street?
There will be, yes. We'll have security, and there will be some extra police on the street as well. Any other questions? Lots of good questions.
The status of the restaurant on the corner of Ashland and May.
That is. Yeah, sorry, I'm blanking on the name. Casalena.
Yeah.
It's a Mediterranean type restaurant in the valley right now. It's quite good. I don't know if that concept is going to be the exact one that goes on into that space, but probably. They haven't quite confirmed that, but I'm pretty sure that will. They're certainly investing in the build out, as I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's good, because that building needed a lot of help. So, yeah, we're excited about it. That's that one. The other two big ones are the one across from Vecchia. That should be open midsummer, I think.
I'm sorry, what is that gonna be?
That is by the people who have, there's a husband and wife duo, they have restaurants called Met Him at a Bar, Met Her at a Bar, and there's a pasta thing. They're on La Brea, like in the Grove area, Grove neighborhood. They're good, it's good, kind of like Italian style restaurant. That's what it says on their pizza oven, that Corrado bar, I think, so it's probably gonna be some kind of variant of that concept. Yeah.
And then just a few, since you knew some of the Main Street businesses that are, say, coming soon, what's the coffee place, Kodos, or has the dog on the right across, right next to the VCA?
I don't really know.
No, I don't know if that's a different place.
So there's
Yeah, thank you.
two different things. There's the Kodos thing with the bulldog on.
Yeah, that's right.
on the building. They haven't responded to any efforts on our behalf to get in touch. There's also like a rescue cafe.
Yeah.
That's down by, Mystic Journey.
Yeah.
Yeah, is somebody here from that?
Yeah, no, I have to say.
Oh, right, near there. I have dogs. I run with my dogs every day, so I'm very interested in these businesses. I don't know what they're gonna do either. They also haven't really replied. So my feeling is that they're farther behind on the whole development process.
Sure.
And then the big one is Enterprise Fish Company, which, you know, probably like early next year, if I could guess.
What is it going to be?
It's gonna be awesome, is what it's gonna be. Yeah, it's gonna be, I don't wanna spill the beans, but I know enough information to know that it's gonna be world class. Yeah, it'll be a really cool kind of performance-ish, dinner-ish. It kind of defies genre. It's sort of a genre bender, but it's gonna be awesome. Yeah, so we're very excited.
Hopefully, everything is very well soundproof, because we're right across the street.
I am, how do I say this? I'm sure that no expense will be spared. Yeah, so, hey.
Two properties I'm curious about is the long vacant O'Brien's at Pier and Main, and also, Via Veneto, which unfortunately just went out. I wonder if you have any updates on those?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Via Veneto, I believe, closed because the owner unfortunately died
Yes,
recently.
but they were also, as my understanding, were in the process of updating. They took over the Sumiko shop,
Yeah,
and he died, and that, so there may have been a lot going on in that space, but they
that'd
just.
be a lesson to you, don't renovate a restaurant. Bad joke, sorry. I had some experience with that and like it's very. Yeah.
I mean, they could just put the chandelier out when they went out, so I know it was unexpected, but do we have any?
I
update
don't,
on-
they don't have an update. I mean, I'm in the restaurant world. I hear all the gossip. I don't have any gossip on that, I will tell you. The other one on O'Brien's, unfortunately, I have nothing there either. That whole building, had been stuck in a kind of quagmire for a long, long time. I would be lying if I told you I had any relevant information.
I have noticed, and the reason I asked about it, I don't know that I can't squeeze anything more out of you, but what has been strange, what has been strange to me is they've also cordoned off the parking. Very recently, they've asked for posting no bills. So these are all recent things. I've actually seen surveyors out to the property, so it just seems strange that there's a lot of activity with no movement.
I have no comment on that. I'm not trying to be evasive. I truly don't know. Maybe they're trying to sell it. I have no idea. I really don't. If they did, I would know. Yeah.
You know anything about the logistics of how it will work when the farmer's market that's here on Sundays is moved into the street? How is that?
No, not really, other than, it's gonna move into the street, you know, it'll look and feel more like it does, you know, in DTSM on, what is it, Arizona? We will have to, I mean, the city's gonna pay for it, so there will be adequate barricades and like we do for our closed street event, water barricades. It'll probably feel better. I looked at some kind of spatial renderings of it will be stretched out more. My understanding is it will probably, and I've worked for the farmer's market, so take this with a grain of salt, but my understanding is it will probably go to Motion Park down to Hill, and it will take up that whole block, at least to start. I think that's like kind of a great change. I think it'll feel a lot more natural and it'll be more walkable. I happen to know that whenever people come visit Santa Monica with my relatives and friends, and we drive down Main Street on Sunday, the first thing they say is, "That's a farmer's market?" Because it doesn't look, you know what I mean? back there in the parking lot, easy to drive past it. You don't really know what it is. So I think it'll be a positive change. It'll probably bring a lot more people to the farmers market, which is great because those farmers aren't rich, you know, and it's really a tough sell for them to drive around all these markets. And when you have a market that's more visible and brings more people, then all of a sudden it's better for them. Yeah. I love that hat, by the way. It's a good look. I didn't recognize it.
Yeah. Would there still be some farmers in the inside as well, or will that space be open?
No, the parking lot where the farmers market is right now, my understanding is that so Victorian is like totally renovating all like everything. And I think there's like a pool going in and like all this other stuff. So I'm pretty sure that whole parking area will be out of commission for God knows how long.
All right, last one.
When they do the farmer's market on Main Street, and I missed meetings about it, but will the shop owners on Main Street, as we have with other events, will they be out and about as well? Kind of selling their own, like, is it an integrated? Or is it just strictly farmer's market? Because I know some events have brought restaurants out onto the streets, and maybe that was just in the pandemic era, but it was kind of a nice feel as well.
Yeah, we would love that. You know, we haven't really had exploratory talks with the farmers market yet on like the specifics. But we would certainly like it if, you know, there was some option for adjacent restaurants to kind of, you know, set up a table and do some stuff. I don't want to put the cart before the horse, so we have to talk to Carla and Jagan about that. But I mean, we think that would be cool. It also opens the door for, you know, maybe some like, better entertainment, you get more space. Whole thing would just be an improvement.
Thanks so much for coming, Hunter.
Thanks, boss.
Yeah.
If you want to email us, you can just enter at mainstreetsm.com, spelled out MAINSTREETSM, like Santa Monica. Hunter at mainstreetsm.com. I promise I'll get back to you. Okay.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thanks so much. Okay, and I'm sure we'll have a conversation next month about whether you are able to join. I'm sure we'll talk about, you know, how Monopoly went. If there's any resident feedback, we'll pass it along.
We're gonna do a survey.
Yep. So,
you know, we want to get the feedback as possible.
Okay.
Have a great night, everyone.
So next up, we've got Santa Monica Travel and Tourism. We've got Misty here, and we've also got Evan. I just met. Is Evan? Are you guys both going up?
Yeah, both going up. We're taxi.
Thanks so much for joining us.
We're like the Academy and Lacey. Tourism.
So thanks so much for having us. And the reason why I just combined is Santa Monica Travel and Tourism has been here in the community for quite some time. I haven't been here since day one, but pretty close. So quite some time. Also a local resident, used to live on off of Oak Street for quite a long time, and then was able to purchase over the Peacock neighborhood quite a long time ago. So love Santa Monica, love being here. We are a nonprofit agency. We get a little bit of funding from the city to help with visitor services and those types of things in the community. And the majority of our funding comes as a pass-through fee to hotel guests. So we sit at about a total this year, $7.5 million. As you know, times have not been great. I think that the last 6 years have probably been the most difficult our industry has ever experienced. That doesn't stop today. We are very focused. Just as a little bit of background, as a destination, we are typically 50% of our visitor origin comes from international destinations. So obviously we've been feeling the pain along with several others here in LA, but we have the largest majority share of international travelers who are pretty important to us. Why, you might ask? Judy probably knows this, Jeff knows this. They stay longer, they spend more money, and unlike us, they use public transportation. It's the perfect formula for a destination like ours. And we are working very hard. I sit in the U.S. Travel Board and California Travel Association. There's a lot of movement that is happening on a positive side, believe it or not, at the federal level. But there are also some things coming down the pike that have already been approved that we are pushing back. Some of those are, and I'll just give this quick and then we'll switch to a happier gear. You know, the integrity fees, the fees that you're hearing about that were passed in this big beautiful bill, we've been able to keep this administration from applying them. What it means is that you will pay $185 for your passport and you'll pay $250 on top of it. You might not think that's a lot, but think about a family of 4 to 6 who's traveling, right? And this is just your application. It will put the United States as the #2 most expensive country in the world to travel to. I will give $20 to anybody that can tell me what number 1 is.
North Korea.
Can't even go there. We're getting there here pretty much. It's Bhutan, which is a country, if you're familiar with, the happiest country in the world. They have very strict tourism policies where they determine where you're gonna stay, what day you arrive, what meals you consume. It's very programmed. So that just does not bode well for the United States. And then on top of everything, we're all dealing with the gas and fuel prices. Flights are being canceled. We are not favored around the world right now, which makes our job much more difficult. But we have an incredible destination. We're about ready to leave on Saturday to the largest international trade show that happens on American soil. We are sold out with appointments, so the interest is still there. I think this is a temporary pause until we can get through this. And we are pivoting. We are definitely looking at more domestic travel. It's not the perfect formula for here. I will stand here and tell you, we're going to have more traffic this summer than we've had in a while. And I don't just mean because of COVID and slow business. I mean, more people are going to be driving, which is not what any of us want, but the recovery has to start somewhere. We had a really good first quarter, and then April and May kind of have tempered down a bit. FIFA's unknown. We don't know what's going to happen really with World Cup. We had anticipated being completely sold out. I'm sure that you guys all heard around the world. FIFA dropped hotel room blocks. Vancouver, as an example, they dropped 80% of the hotel rooms they were holding there. The problem with events like that is that they walk away with no penalties, and then we end up with a lot of business. So we are very focused on summer business. Invite your friends and relatives to come. There's some really cool things happening in the community. The Recreation and Arts Department, I don't know, did anybody get to the Jazz Festival this weekend? I mean, come on, right? There are things like that that are happening in our community. And quite frankly, we need everybody's help getting that word out. I do feel like as a community, we turn a corner. As I said, I've been here since the early 80s. I know what we were, I saw what we went to, and I know that we'll get back there. But it does take all of us in that word of mouth and supporting the good things that are happening in our community. So from a tourism standpoint, we're looking at this year as being still a recovery year. I didn't think I'd be saying that again in 2026, but next year is going to be incredible. I'm sure you all heard about the event that the city's throwing on Ocean Avenue, a closed street event during FIFA. Make sure you get out there. There'll be a lot of activity happening. We are working very hard with the city on things for the Olympics. You'll start hearing more and more about hospitality houses from other countries are going to set up shop here. We should do fairly well. We also have an international media center that's going to be here down at Crescent Bay Park, down near the beach. So there's a lot of really good things coming. Super Bowl, I was just going to say, Super Bowl. There is a large event with ESPN and Disney that's happening out on the pier for a few days. What's great about that, in addition to people being here and the activity, is the media coverage. This is the stuff you just cannot pay for, right? So I do think that we're headed for a very positive 2027, and we will get through the summer with a little bit of dignity, not as high on the horse as we needed. You heard today about restaurants. I really encourage you as often as you can to support our local restaurants. We have some very established restaurants that are still struggling. So again, take a minute when you can, order something to go, pop by and say hello, let them know that you're supporting it. They really need to hear that right now. Part of the reason.
Well, you forgot one of the most important things locally.
What?
Route 66.
Oh my gosh. How can I forget? I feel like I've been living it for 3 years.
Yeah, it's because we've been talking about it for so long.
So there are tons of events. I really encourage you to check out our website, santamonica.com. There's a Route 66 page. June 4th, our tourism summit is happening in the afternoon. Directly after that, we're having an event with the pier and a Texas Roadhouse. Have any of you heard about the 72-ounce steak challenge at a restaurant out of Texas? Okay, well, there you go. I'm down for it.
It is like 3/4.
Their whole restaurant is coming down here to Santa Monica.
Yeah, so we've got our chief of police, the chief of the fire department, they're gonna come down and take on the challenge, and a few other folks. But there'll be line dancing, a band, and the restaurant is starting their trip here, and they're going across the country carrying this challenge. So there's just some fun, really quirky things that'll be happening on that night and throughout the celebration of the year at the July 4th parade. I'm sure none of you know anything about the theme is Route 66, and we're certainly excited about that. So what led us to Film Santa Monica? So several years ago, we dabbled and thought, okay, maybe this is something we could do. And Film LA came along and said, we're gonna do this. And the city said, okay. We were like, great, as long as it's getting done. And then fast forward, and the movie Barbie came out. And we didn't know. And I was curious. It was like, how could we have something so popular, filmed here in our community, and us not be aware to even make an ask of, is there any partnership or any opportunity to explore from a branding and positioning standpoint? So through that, and we're out marketing, we have offices in 5 different countries. We're out at trade shows. We have the collateral pieces. So we responded to the RFP at the city. And Evan, who is a very important leader in my office, has been with me for
14 years. Yeah. That's why I feel like we're about to do an improv.
Yeah.
Demonstration here.
Who is our COO, came to me and said, we can do this. Like, let's respond to the RFP. We were lucky enough to win it.
What do they say? Careful what you wish for.
Yeah, exactly. But things have gone really well, and I'm going to turn it over to Evan. She has really been the force behind Film Santa Monica in partnership with the city, and the city's been great partners as well.
Amazing partners.
We've developed a few new tools that she'll talk about, and just some of the fun and exciting things that we're doing and that we're going to make Baywatch our white book this year. So I'm going to sit down, and then if you guys have questions, we'll go.
Absolutely. Thank you, Misty. And just to quickly touch on what she was saying about Route 66 and the summit, we would love to have OPA at our summit on June 4th and have a table so we can get that information over, but it'll be a great.
What time does it start?
1:30 to 3:30.
And then they have peer events at 4, and you're already going to be there. So all you have to do is take a nice beach walk down to the pier.
You can wear your cowboy boots if you want to. And it's at Classic Alarm, but we'll send out the information. We'd love to have you there. And during our tourism summit, we're going to have a beautiful Baywatch, as Misty just mentioned, display, a photo display for a stop and repeat, so you can take some photos. Baywatch is our White Lotus. I'm sure all of you have heard of White Lotus and what that does for tourism and what that does for communities, right? So when White Lotus filmed its first season in Hawaii, that resort saw a 300% increase in bookings and interest after White Lotus aired its show on HBO. Baywatch, as many of you know, was originally filmed here back in 1989 to 1992, I believe it was for 3 years. So we've always had Baywatch in our back pocket when we thought about Film Santa Monica. So as Misty mentioned, we won the bid. We won the business, and we launched on September 1st, 2025 last year. And in the 9 months since we have been in business, we have tripled the number of permits that were done over the entire last year. So we went from 64 permits the year before, and we have now approved 165 permits as of today. And we've generated over $500,000 for the city of Santa Monica in revenue. So that is like a huge deal. That's, I would say, double of what we expected to bring in the first year. So thinking about what we've done in 9 months is really exciting to think about where we could go from here. Some of the big notable productions that we've had Baywatch, we had a movie with Kevin Bacon down on the pier. We had The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. We have learned a lot as we go, as Misty mentioned. You find out, oh, did you know you can turn the lights off in one of the parking lots? We didn't know that by the beach. There's a lot of things that we've learned as we go. Now that we've got the system down, right? We've learned about notifications. We're working with the neighborhoods. We're working with the bids. We're working with the businesses. I would say right now, the best thing for OPA for the businesses on Main Street are to get on our location profile page. So if you go to filmsantamonica.com, we have a location profile page that we are focused on marketing all over the world. As Misty mentioned, she's going to IPW next week. We've got trade shows happening every month of the year. Our reach is all over the world. We're in 5 different.
Where are we now?
Oh, yes, right now, this week, we were invited from the State Film Commission because we've been like really kind of the prom queen, if you will, of the permitting industry around Los Angeles, because we're setting a new standard. That's what makes Santa Monica different. Unlike the other cities around us, we're offering a white glove permit process. So where you go to Los Angeles, you fill out an application with Film LA and you get in the system, but then it's up to you, the location manager, to reach out to the fire department, to PD. Oh, I have to have building safety. I didn't know that. It's up to you to figure all that out. Through us, it's all done through one person. You get assigned a human being as soon as you put in your permit request, and you're with that person from beginning to end. You don't reach out to PD. You don't reach out to individual departments. You only ever deal with one of our amazing employees. And again, we're hospitality background. That's what we come from. So the word is spreading. There's posts about us everywhere. People are talking about us on TikTok. They're talking about us in the industry, and they want to do what we're doing. Everyone's reaching out to us, asking our advice, like, oh, how are you guys doing this? What are you doing? We're not sharing all our secrets yet. Because, you know, we still haven't hit our 1-year mark, but it's going really well. I would encourage you, and we'll share the information, to get your business up on our site, because filming money is like, it's untapped revenue for your business. They will come in, they can film overnight, they can film in odd hours, and if it's a private business, you don't need a permit. The only time that you need a permit through us is if you're blocking the sidewalk, if you're using city property, but if it's your private business and you want to allow them to film from, say, midnight to 6 a.m., you can absolutely do that. You know, as long as they're by, you know, not breaking noise ordinances or other things like that. Yeah. So lots of opportunity. We're out there marketing, and I would say it's been a great success. And as Misty mentioned, you can't put a dollar amount on the coverage. You know, and that's why we make the joke that, you know, that Baywatch is our White Lotus, because you heard about the stats we shared. And with Baywatch coming back, that attention is here. It started here. It's from Santa Monica, and I think it's going to do great for us.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, it didn't come easy. We had to compete with Venice and LA. I'm sure you guys saw in the news what was going on, and you know, through those relationships, and as Evan said, having a one-stop service available has really made a difference. In fact, last weekend, Evan posted a little clip from a 1990s Baywatch where the guy had literally a mullet haircut. And she sends it over, and she's like, look at this in real time, and got over 300,000 views.
I think we're like up to 500,000 views.
And I mean, it's insane.
People love Baywatch. It's the Southern California lifestyle. You know, that's what we encompass here.
Yeah, so you just never know what's gonna flip that switch and get us back in the solid light, if you will. And, you know, helping us back in the arts community. I think that's the other thing. Those of us that have been here for a long time have seen a lot of that fade away. And I'm thrilled to see the stuff that the city's doing and what the Recreation and Arts Department's doing. And I think that filming can help that, again, help us earn that
Big productions. And we've got some things in the pipeline, very big. We had Brad Pitt out here filming the sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and filmed that on the incline. I mean, we've
She wouldn't tell me when he was here, though.
We thought of that.
Yeah.
Had Lincoln Lawyer filming on the.
Yeah,
they were here too.
Lincoln Lawyer out right now. I mean, just, it's been really positive, great photography as well. Like we've had H&M and Klein, really, really good. And everyone's been wonderful to work with. Yeah, it's been really good. It's been good. Any questions?
The only question is hotel rates when do we get that? They don't. And I know they're making up for lots time.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's with any business, right?
It is.
You know, it's demand. I mean, market demand is what business is all about. And yeah, I mean, you know, we've been suffering. I mean, we had a good this was the first 3 months. It was probably the best we have done in the last 6 years. And I don't want to say they're making up for things. I would also say that it's expensive to do business in California. Expensive to do business, you know, here in Santa Monica, and all of those different fees and costs roll downhill. And yeah, it's been a very difficult few years for a few of them. Yeah. I'm very pleased to see that no one closed beyond. There was a time period that we were like, "Whoa, what's gonna happen here?"
We have a lot of competitors in the region, so, you know, they do stay competitive and still, we have a lot of affordable options though too. Beautiful seashore and lots of options.
Well, the problem now is without a lot of international travel, you've got a piranha situation going on with inventory, the rates, and who's getting in. That will all go away, so just hang in there. And you know we do an extra bedroom program during the holidays, right? Where there's just.
Not every hotel.
No, but we try. Let them know.
I do.
Yeah, let them know.
They reach out to us too, let us know, and, you know, when you have a family member or group coming in anytime of the year, you can reach out.
Can't promise cheap rate, but we can
I
help.
No, I just said, and I happen to be in the business, in the travel business, but this is a family member, and she was gonna come the second week in June, very close to the World Cup. And the price where she stays was $545.
We'll try to keep checking.
We changed her date to the end of May, it was $245.
Yeah. And all of those dates that fall over World Cup, all of that's gonna change if occupancy doesn't pick up.
So I had a question. So during the World Cup, you noticed that I'm sorry, you might have said this already, but the Santa Monica hotels are actually already pretty booked during that time.
It depends.
Casa del Mar and the
Kind of
ones along
checker.
Ocean.
It depends on who they contracted with and who's delivered.
Yeah.
So if they were with FIFA directly, probably not as much. There were tons of room lots that were dropped about a month ago. Yeah, I said, I mean, in Vancouver alone, they dropped 80% of the rooms that they have been pulled in for the last 2.5 years.
So people aren't going there either.
The ticket sales are low, and, you know, look, I think again, there's some countries that think they're going to fare well, and then others that we're just not sure. And until I'm not a huge soccer fan, so I sit in meetings and I really do try to figure it out. But we won't know still who is playing. And then people aren't going to purchase their tickets until they know who's playing. So it's probably going to be a fast and furious, and we don't know. That's the biggest problem. It's really difficult to forecast something like this.
Yeah.
And we're working really hard towards the Olympics. We don't want to end up in this situation during the Olympics. I mean, the woman that ran it for Paris, I've been able to meet with twice. And I said to her, now that it's all done, tell me what the #1 thing you wish you would have known. And she said it was to manage expectations. They didn't sell out. You know, a lot of residents left the area. So we're talking to the city about different things that could be done here to avoid a similar situation. Now, if we get hospitality houses that it's looking like we're getting, that may not matter. We may pick up enough rooms with visiting friends and family and people that are coming in on some of the packages and stuff that are being offered, that we'll do okay. But we're gonna make darn sure that we're as sold out as we can get.
We're excited for these big events.
City Wall for 4th of July parade. The other half of your MC.
Okay, well, I think now we're gonna move on to, we're gonna invite Robbie up to the stage here, the other Robbie. If you remember this Robbie. And he's gonna talk a little bit about AB 1740, which is, I'll let him give a little bit of the context here.
Yeah, so depending on how carefully you're engaged in our city politics, you may have heard about this bill or maybe not.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it, okay, good. Well, I just wanted to come by and share a little bit about the bill, answer any questions folks have, if you have any. I'll try to keep this relatively succinct. I wrote some notes because it's a little bit of a complicated piece of legislation. The basic. Oh, yes. My name is Robbie Steinberg. I work for Assemblymember Zebur, who's our state assembly member here in Santa Monica. The district goes from Santa Monica through Vermont and Los Feliz. So 1740 is a bill that Assemblymember Zebur introduced this year. It's designed to modernize the coastal permitting process in Santa Monica. Obviously, that is a big thing. Thank you. I'm looking for the right term. That's obviously a big thing. And so I just wanted to start with the starting point, which I'm sure a lot of folks here know, but some may not, which is the coastal zone in Santa Monica goes from 4th Street all the way until you get to Pico, and then it goes up to Lincoln. So the coastal zone is a large section of Santa Monica. It includes all of downtown Santa Monica, obviously Ocean Park. You know, I used to live in the coastal zone in Ocean Park, now I live in the coastal zone over by Idaho. You know, it's a lot of folks live there, and of course, a lot of our businesses and tourism. I was going to point to the tourism people. Is based in the coastal zone. So, as some members of BURR considered this project, here are some of the things we thought about. You know, the twin goals of the Coastal Act were ensuring public access and protecting coastal resources. So Santa Monica has excelled, especially in both of those, but especially in the former, ensuring public access. So whether it's trains, buses, bike lanes, pedestrian pathways, etc., the city of Santa Monica has really excelled at meeting the Coastal Act's requirements. Now, at the same time, the Coastal Act imposes a lot of serious hurdles on businesses and individuals seeking to do all sorts of activities in Santa Monica. So just to give you a couple examples. Changes of use, whether you're a business on the promenade or Main Street, changes of use can be a major impediment. So if you're changing your business from, say, a clothing store to a restaurant, that might sound innocuous, but that can require a coastal development permit, which means going to the Coastal Commission, or at least going to the Commission to get an exemption, which by itself can be a 3-month process, even if you're just already qualified for exemption, getting that exemption. Same is true when it comes to removing a parking space or multiple parking spaces. Again, that might sound innocuous, but when it comes to outdoor dining, for example, or when it comes to building a bike lane or a bus lane, that can be a serious impediment. The most controversial part of this bill, of course, includes housing, which is that constructing multifamily housing requires coastal permits. Now, that's not to say the commission, I think the misconception here is that the commission just rejects large housing development in the coastal zone. That is not true. I think a good example would be the large Frank Gehry project from a few years ago. The Coastal Commission actually approved the height of that project in the coastal zone. That was 130 feet tall, which is obviously a large project. But the extra time and delays make everything obviously more expensive and more difficult, whether that's the cost of rent or a home price, but also, you know, our ability to go to an inexpensive grocery store or a slightly less expensive grocery store, restaurant, etc. A couple other examples. So I can give you some anecdotes, but I don't want to take too long. So let me go ahead and just go through the exemptions this bill covers and what it doesn't cover. So I think I can speak firmly for the Assembly member when I say that he really views the Coastal Act as one of California's most important environmental laws. So there are, you know, I mean, the coastal California, 50 years ago, the Coastal Act was passed, and it's done an incredible job protecting California's coast. The question is Santa Monica, should a city like Santa Monica, that has the public access we have, be regulated in the same way that like a Big Sur should be regulated? And I think to a lot of folks that seems innocuous. Or sorry, not innocuous, incongruous. So what the Assembly member looked to do was create a set of narrow but targeted exemptions to the Coastal Act for Santa Monica. And initially this was for more cities, but it was narrowed to Santa Monica. And so those include updating existing buildings or changes of use of those buildings, managing and regulating parking requirements, adding bus or bike infrastructure, constructing housing that would otherwise be permitted under local or state law, permitting and managing temporary events. So some of what the travel and tourism folks were talking about, and approving and regulating outdoor dining. So, you know, I don't want to shy away from it. I know that the housing part of this bill has been controversial. This housing is only housing that would be otherwise approved by state and local law. I think a lot of folks assume that when Sacramento is doing something about housing, it's going to mean requiring requiring a city to build new buildings. This is just returning control to the city to be the permitting authority for those projects. That doesn't mean that everyone still like it and still think that's enough, but I at least want to cover that point because I think there's been some misconceptions there. We think that these are the kind of projects that benefit our coastal community and enhance public access. The bill was sponsored by the city of Santa Monica because the city has viewed this kind of project and this kind of bill as helpful to the city. That said, I know there's been a lot of questions lately, so I just wanted to come and see if I could answer any of them, and of course, share any feedback for the assembly member that folks here might have. I should of course say, you know, I'm here on the assembly member's behalf. I didn't write the bill, so I really don't like it. No, I'm just kidding. But I'd be happy to answer any questions if anyone has. Yes, sir.
So everybody I talked to opposed to this, we've got 4 other, neighborhood groups have written letters opposing it.
Yes.
And when you say it's approved by the city, but that's without any public input. There's been no agendization of this on any council meeting.
Right.
That somehow the city, just behind closed doors, has decided they're gonna sponsor this bill. On top of that, no other city wants it. The only city that's gonna get it is Santa Monica. And fifthly, is that in 50 years, the Coastal Commission has protected us.
50 years, yeah.
50, and then 40 years ago, the people of Santa Monica voted to preserve the coast. And its system is not broken. I mean, there's nobody complaining about any of these things. You say, well, it's slowing down. Every week, there's a bike race along the beach or a 5K run, and they manage to get through the process. There's no slowdown. And so you're trying to fix something that's not broken. The only thing that sticks way up is you want to put in low-income housing on our parking lots behind Main Street.
Okay, let me
And why don't you take that, if that's not true, take it out of the bill?
So when we first introduced the bill, it had provisions to allow the city to change parking lots. And folks pointed this out, that this could be a problem. As far as we understood, the city had no intention to close their parking lots and put up housing. But the bill does now protect all the large beach parking lots, and the bill does not apply to those beach parking lots. That's one point. I don't know if I'm gonna get all of them, so tell me if I miss any. Let me go backward. You mentioned in the past, the voters passed a proposition that's called Prop S to protect between the middle of Ocean Avenue West. This bill does not override that. So if you're familiar with Prop S, I think it was from 1990. This bill does not override Prop S because it returns local control to the city. So Prop S is in the city's ordinances, so it does not override Prop S. Sponsorship. Sponsorship of this bill, the city has a process for deciding to sponsor bills. That's not we don't decide that process. We were told that the city wanted to sponsor this bill. The city went through their normal process to sponsor it. The city is really the best entity to discuss that. Unless you want to put Judy on the spot to talk about city processes. What I can say is what they told us, which is that they have a legislative agenda that they passed, that the council voted on, and that then the city staff is allowed to decide if a bill fits within that. I understand that some people have found that lacking, but at least in terms of what I'm doing here to talk about the bill, I can't really speak to the city's internal process. I feel like you said another point that again. Yes.
Could you just clarify on the parking lot thing, because I think Mark was talking about the lots on Nielsen, right? And you said that the beach parking lots were taken out. So those lots on Nielsen, is that part of this?
Well, the city has, so again, this bill in general is about the city having local control over, just in the way the city has control over, say, Fifth Street on the other side of Pico or the other side of Lincoln. So in no way does it take anything away that is currently there. It's just giving the city control over those areas. What?
You're giving the city control.
The city control.
Right, I know that. You're giving the city control.
Yes.
The Coastal Commission not protect that from the city.
Yes, I think, yes.
So
No, I just wanted to clarify, because some folks have.
But I'm just saying is that the Coastal Commission also protects the residents from the city.
Yes.
And it's taking away that protection.
Yes, in these limited areas, it does give the city control. So if
taking away the protection.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's depending on how you look at it, that's a fair way to put it. And I'd have to look at the map for those particular parking lots, but it's seaward of the first public road, so those might not be covered. It's definitely all the beach parking lots. Those are the ones people are concerned about primarily, but we could look at trying to add those if that's yes.
A gazillion years ago, a small group of people did the zoning for Ocean Park, which is different from the rest of the city. And nobody talked to Ocean Park that I know of about what could change. And if it changes to take the coastal commission away, it leaves it, as far as I know, to the city council to decide on all the zoning and the beach parking lots and all of that kind of stuff that we have had in place. And because we have strongly advocated along the way, things are protected. And it looks like this takes some of that protection away. And that's what a lot of people are concerned about.
Which sorts of projects are you, is it, I'm not following exactly.
It's just what could be built in the future, not current zoning, but in the future without having the coastal commission protection.
Right. And I guess the thing that my understanding
is not the same.
Right. I guess my understanding is that the coastal commission, though, is often very open to approving a new housing development in the coastal.
Well, that's fine, but at least they're there to look.
Yeah, and that's true, but there are people who are very much against this bill who don't necessarily understand it, and I understand there are changes being made now to the bill, and we don't know what those are.
Yes, absolutely. So that's partly what I'm doing here is I want to share the bill with you and understand what people's concerns are so that I can share them with the assembly member. Yes.
I actually don't share all these concerns. I'm fundamentally in favor of anything that actually starts to resolve some of Santa Monica's problems, which include the struggle to build more housing, but also we heard from the tourist lady, the troubles that we're facing with the tourist industry. We all know the promenade trouble faces a lot of problems. And actually, I'm excited by creative thinking that might address some of these problems. And so I suppose what I'd like to hear is, to the extent I have a question, sort of, why did it end up being just Santa Monica? Like, why weren't the other cities sort of exempted from this? So I am definitely curious about that. But I also would like you to tell us, like, what could we see in Santa Monica that could be a real boon for the region that is brought about by this bill that couldn't happen otherwise? Now, maybe it's just flipping a stall to a restaurant, but are there some other, like, sort of bigger propositions?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the biggest propositions are really reliant downtown Santa Monica, where I think that the business owners we've talked to and DTSM folks have really talked about the challenge that getting changes of use require. And so when you have a huge number of unoccupied spaces, it's one thing on Main Street where you have a bit more of a bustling street, obviously, where you have a lot of restaurants, maybe a restaurant closes and a new restaurant comes. But the promenade and a lot of downtown Santa Monica businesses have to be rethought in a different way. And so that process right now is very cumbersome. And so the hope is that this would help speed those kind of changes up. Well, that's the kind of feedback I'm happy to relay, is that maybe it should be, if some folks like you think that it should be more limited to something like that, I can share that with you something. But that's one of those changes. I think the other thing is some of these temporary events and activations that the city hasn't been able to do in the coastal zone could be very helpful to the city. So, I'm not the person planning the concert series. So whether you like the concert or don't like the concert, I don't want to get into that. But, there's all sorts of, it's obviously the big scale, but there's also a lot of scale events in between. And I think that the excitement about this bill, obviously there are a lot of folks in Santa Monica who are concerned about it now. But I think the excitement about it is evidenced by the number of other cities that want it to be included in this bill and are not able to be included in this bill. So the city of San Diego, for example, asked to be included. City of Long Beach asked to be included. Because when we initially had the bill include significant larger geography, when we went to the Natural Resources Committee, the Coastal Commission, as we know, is a very important actor in California. And so to do any change to the commission, the thought was start small, start with.
They're gonna Santa Monica, like they do with the houses.
Well, that's a one way to look at it. I mean, yeah, you could say pick on, but you
Just
could
like
also
the
say,
builders from it.
give Santa Monica a very special
Yeah,
treatment
right.
that other
Thank
cities.
you.
This remedy is not specific.
Is this going to be on a ballot?
But it's part of it.
That's my only question.
Oh,
Is
no,
this
it's
going to be on?
It's part
That's
of it.
why.
And we need to.
Part of it.
Exactly right.
Need to move on.
Yeah, so I can answer your question real quick, saying this is a piece of legislation, so it won't be on the ballot.
Okay.
But I'm very open to sharing any concerns, and I can leave my email and you can share your
Right,
concerns.
we only have 30 more minutes and we haven't even had business.
Yes, I think it's a very important topic that people seem to have opinions on, but I agree we will move on relatively quickly here.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that wanted to get a question answered or express an opinion?
Yes.
I just wanted, like, what do you hope for? Like, you're obviously very dedicated to this cause, and so I guess I just want to know if it went as well as you could possibly imagine, what would you see?
I think that well, first of all, I should say that I'm here on behalf of the assembly member. But I appreciate that I'm explaining the bill well enough to seem extremely dedicated to the cause. I'll take it. So I think the hope from this bill, though, is that especially when it comes to the speed with which the city can behave flexibly and make improvements that benefit all residents, that will be really clear after this bill is passed. So you'll see dynamic changes in downtown. You'll see new bike paths that, yes, might remove a couple of parking spaces, but don't inhibit public access at all. Like, that's the kind of thing I think we're hoping to see that I think will be a boon to the city. So, I don't know, I'm just a messenger.
I can speak from experience, having tried to help some housing, projects happen in the coastal zone, which is essentially like a mile, inland. It's a very arbitrary, and yes, it's had some great benefits in protecting the coastline and kind of the way that a lot of people have come to appreciate life as it is up and down the California coast. But I will say that it is very cumbersome to do anything, like literally anything.
Yeah.
ADUs that have already been built, to get them kind of like a rubber stamp takes over a year. So I guess I'll just say, having dealt with this coastal commission on really arbitrary projects, I think it's kind of, I don't know if ambitious is the right word, but like, I think it's interesting that someone's trying to do something to figure out how to make it more flexible and kind of go after the coastal commission's power. So.
And the last thing I'll add on that is that we're less than halfway through the legislative process. There's time for the bill to adapt, change, succeed, or the opposite of succeed. So it's not, there's lots of time to talk about this and consider amendments to the bill. The bill has changed a lot since it was first introduced. So I'll just sit here. And I can have some of my cards, and if you share your thoughts with me, I'm happy to pass them on to the assembly member.
Yes, I think that my email has been filled with the discussion, at least over the weekend. And I don't know if Rick is getting the kind of feedback that is happening.
Yeah.
And I know that there are changes being proposed, but nobody knows what those are except the people who are very, very close and working on it. So it's hard to know how to respond to it.
Right.
And to know how it's going to affect Ocean Park, because we don't really know what's happening.
Yes, there's definitely been a lot of proposals around how to change the bill and things of that nature. And I think those are being worked out with a lot of different people. But I think as soon as the assembly member has something concrete, he'll be sharing it. But yes, I know that's the concern is, if you don't like the bill and you want it to change, you want to know how it's changing. And if you like it, then you don't want it to change. You want to know how it's hopefully not going to change, depending on your perspective. Either way, the amendment process can be concerning.
Thanks for joining us, Rob.
Yes, thank you.
right, so we do have some board business, but I did want to give a few individuals an opportunity to kind of introduce themselves. And then we have one other topic that is an ongoing conversation. So first, Dick, if you want to come up and say hello. So Dick met Sean, I believe it was at the co-working space. And you know, asked if he could at least say hello very quickly. And so go ahead.
Everyone, I'm Dick Lucas. This is actually very exciting because I'm running for his boss's job. So this is like one of those meetings where things could get dirty. Anyway, yeah. Rob is a good guy. I just met him. I don't know. I'm sure he's chill. So I'm Dick Lucas. I've been in Santa Monica. I grew up in Glendale, California. I lived in the Santa Monica area about six years. I was on Ocean and Vic now. I don't know if you guys know Nas at L&K Market. That's one of the oldest businesses in Santa Monica. A good friend of mine. One of the few businesses that has my face up there. I live right now in Lincoln, Santa Monica area. I just had a baby girl 6 months ago. So we're committed to Santa Monica. We're not going anywhere. She's from Jersey and she's like, I ain't leaving. My family's in Glendale. Like I said, that's where I grew up. I went to Notre Dame High School in the Valley. And yeah, I'm running for office. I'm the only independent in the race.
I raise point of order. Yeah. I thought we weren't discussing politics. I thought that under the taking the city's money, that we were not to be having anybody who's running for candidacy giving us a speech.
Yeah, so that what we had decided was that anything that was Santa Monica focused, we weren't going to entertain, so like council members, stuff like that. And then I told so Dick met Sean and I went back and forth. I was like, can we do this?
I think you're gonna like what I'm gonna say. I think I know.
I'm just saying that if you have a 501c that, you know, says you shouldn't be politically doing this.
I'm concerned about it too.
You are, okay.
Well, how's this? I mean, I'm happy to stand there for whoever wants to talk to me. I mean, yeah, I don't want to come in here and rain on the parade, but.
Yeah, I'm not good coffee, but I mean, it's not really fair to say, you can come in because, you know, you're a friend of somebody.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think any politician can come in here that's not related to Santa Monica, what I'm running for is state assembly, which covers Santa Monica, but also Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, Westwood, so it's the greater area. So I think
nothing against you.
No, of course not. No, I appreciate it.
So, yeah.
But I'll just say one thing then. Okay. Homelessness, I think homelessness is a huge issue in Santa Monica. Every single voter I talked to, it's a huge issue. I was at a Santa Monica Chamber of Commerce event where Rick Zuber spoke. He didn't mention the word homelessness once. Okay, we have $24 billion from 2018 to 2023 that the state allocated towards homelessness. They did the audit. We don't know where the money went. I'm running as an independent. I don't care about the parties. I care about good ideas. Both parties have good ideas. Both parties have bad ideas. So I'll keep it at that. I want to actually address that issue. We need to force treatment. We need to know where the dollars are going. We got to get people off the street. I did a ride along with Officer Holloway. He won't call me Dick. He calls me Mr. Sir. That's fine. But we picked up a meth addict in Tongo Park, took him to jail. He left 2 hours later because he didn't accept services. He had a rap sheet longer than my arm. Okay. He just went right back to the street. This is a state level issue and we need to actually address it because right now, whatever we're doing isn't working. So I'll be here to talk. Yeah, thank you for the time and apologies. Thank you.
Thank you. And Marie looks like she might have.
She left a long time ago.
Okay. Marie is also running for office. I'm just making sure that, you know, it wasn't like a, hey, anyway, she wanted to say that she's running. So let's move on. I think the next thing that we were going to get to is Carrie's been kind enough to join us tonight. A couple of the last few meetings, we've had conversations around the turf, and Carrie reached out, and frankly, I think, you know, it was fair to ask the question, like, why didn't we include the school district in the conversation that we had last month? And so, you know, I shared the letter with the board members. And I just wanted to, you know, give you an opportunity to have a conversation with the group, and if there's specific, you know, things that you wanted to say off the top, you're welcome to, and then if there's questions, we can address them. So,
Thank you. I was actually surprised. I hate to say it this way. I was not surprised that certain neighborhood councils did not invite us to this discussion. We know them and they don't invite us, but I was surprised to see that Ocean Park had the conversation without inviting anybody from the school district. There is a group of people who are pushing this issue through every group and committee and possible, and not really including the district much at all in the discussion. The district, the board, when this issue came up, the first thing they said was, there's a lot of comments about one thing or another, and it's not really clear. They did ask for a scientific study to be done, and that's available on our website. That it's completed. It's about over 100 pages. It looks at all of the questions around synthetic turf and grass. Really, though, comparing our grass fields that are deeply overplayed and the most recent synthetic turf. Because most of the argument that we keep hearing about is they like to compare professional grass fields with turf that's 20 years old. And that's not quite getting there. But in the resolution that y'all signed on to, and I'll just leave these here for you so you can listen to me as opposed to reading it. We have annotated a lot of the claims that are made in that petition that were inaccurate based on what the science and the scientific study was. So I invite you to sort of look at what sort of y'all signed on to and actually ask the questions. Because I think the biggest question is a lot of this is not really being looked into and asked. It's really a question, you know, but I think the biggest problem is that we're not having the right argument. Because right now the argument just seems to be about grass, turf. And what's really being lost is that, you know, the district is deeply committed to and required in many ways to be committed to the education of the whole child. And the fields are our biggest classroom. We are required to do physical education. It's taught by a certificated teacher. Every kid, ages 1 through 6, is required 200 minutes of PE every 10 school days. And the field is one part of that. And the challenge with our fields is that a grass field, the recommendation is a grass field should not really be played more than 1,000 hours a year. We play our grass fields 1,000 hours in the 180 school days that we have PE. Plus, then we have after school programs for 2 to 3 hours. Then we have on Saturdays, AYSO, on Saturdays and Sundays, playground partnership. And the problem is in Santa Monica, we just don't have enough fields. And our schools don't have enough fields. I mean, most of our elementary schools like Franklin, Roosevelt are half the size they're supposed to be for the size for the number of students they have. If we had twice the number of space, then we could have more than one field and we could rest one field. And the recommendation on a grass field is you rest it at least 3 months out of the year. And the best time to rest that field is during the rainy season. So that would take out weeks upon weeks of time during the school day. Now, if we were talking about closing down science classrooms or English classrooms and just saying, hey, you just can't use them for months out of the year, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But we are having the conversation about the fields. We don't come to, there's not a simple decision on this. It's not an easy decision. The challenge is we don't have enough fields in Santa Monica. We don't have enough place. And it's vital and it's important for students to actually get out and get outside. Fewer than 1 in 10 American students meet the basic combined guidelines for daily activity, reduced recreational screen time, and appropriate sleep. So most of our kids, are not getting their, only 24% get the 60 minutes of activity that's recommended per day. And most kids are getting much more than their 4 hours of recreational screen time per day. And the way that changes is get them outside, get them to play. What the kids who do go outside, they're more physically active, and has very favorable links to physical, mental, social, and spiritual health outcomes. So one of the things that we need to be really arguing and discussing in this thing is not first about the surface, but do we have enough space and time for our kids to get out and play? And so we can talk about the science. There's a lot of science. I would say, you know, when you read that study, it's very good, but it does say some things. It's like, it's not one way. It doesn't say grass or turf better. It says, look at your conditions, look at the situations. You know, right now, heat is still a problem for synthetic turf. Not as much in our coastal areas, but still heat is potentially a problem. It's getting solved with some of the newer turf. When we switched from crumb rubber infill to cork, we made a big, huge jump and shift. But the newest turf we're looking at doesn't have any infill. Because of that, it has a 99% less spreading of microplastics. It doesn't, you know, most of the turf we're looking at doesn't have the PFAs, doesn't have heavy lead, doesn't have other things that people worry about as far as the chemicals. Even those studies show that if it did, like the old turf with the chrome rubber, there are numerous studies that don't show there's actually any exposure coming from that from playing. So while we worry about the turf, and it's not a slam dunk, our problem is we don't have enough fields, and our grass fields are well overplayed. They're not safe to play on. It's like, and that's why we need to have a conversation. So I don't know if y'all are going to reconsider the issue. I would ask you to take a deeper look at what the folks who are pushing against it are saying, because they're actually sharing some stuff that's not accurate. And would like you to keep talking about it. For the district, we are not changing out any grass fields until over a year from now. And the board has said, we don't need to have the conversation because things keep changing and we keep getting new information. So while there might be on the 19th, a group of people standing up in public comment with a resolution, the board really says, we don't have to make that decision yet, so we should. And wait until we have more information. Thanks. Do you have any questions?
Why is grass, I'm sorry, considered not safe?
Grass, our biggest problem with our grass is that it's overplayed. If it was a good grass field that had the time to rest and appropriately be, irrigated and properly maintained, it'd be great. So like on a lot of our diamond fields, our baseball fields, they're not overplayed in the same way as like a soccer field or a physical education field or such. So grass, go ahead. Absolutely. Good. It's our problem is that our elementary schools, they have relatively small fields that get played all the time, every bit with hard play. That's the problem. So if you drive by quickly any of our elementary school fields, they could look okay. But if you actually get out and walk on them, you'll see that they are uneven, that they have a lot of dirt patches, that it's like and to keep them sort of balanced, some sections are wet and others are not. Whenever it rains, we either need to shut them down or the kids come in muddy or they rip up what grass there is.
Got it.
So it's just we had more space, grass, all the way.
But it's rude. Is this a cost, like a maintenance question? Like, I'm confused why the Congress, I think it's altruistic. I think it's great that they're saying we should be using grass. And we all voted to approve it, based on what they should. But if you said that this is going to be like a $500,000 increase in the amount of, annual spend, for me, then I'd be like, okay, well, we can't afford the grass, so we got to get the turf. So I'm just curious what that trade-off looks like.
If you compare them, if you look at over 20 years, the grass and turf comes out to be about the same cost. But the biggest difference is that the grass cost is all on the general fund side, which is the same side that we pay for teachers with, and the other is on our capital side. So it's just a big difference as far as where we have money. Because a lot of people don't realize, if you have property or you pay property taxes, you pay for our school bonds or you voted for those. And, that's one pot of money, where our general fund money is the money that we pay for teachers. Those are two separate. There's no mixing. And so
that's the problem.
So one part of it is that.
It's a huge impact from a cost perspective because you can put it in another bucket.
We put it in another bucket, and to maintain it, I mean, one of the challenges I have is I have 14 gardeners to cover 150 acres. And, you know, that's one of the things where if you compare it to a football field that only gets played a few times and they have 10 expert gardeners on taking care of every blade of grass, we don't have that. So there is a cost also for more staffing. There's a cost for water, which keeps going up. And so these are all embedded costs with the grass. But even if we could pay for that, we don't have enough space, so we overplay them. That's the problem, is we just overplay them. Yes.
I appreciated all the notes that you sent back. I had read through them. I do think, you know, the thing about Ross was in there and like visuals probably help a lot of people, so I would recommend that. But the one thing, there was a comment about what natural grass does for, you know, environmental factors, right? Like rainwater coming in and all that. I think that the response and the portion of the study that was used to kind of debunk that didn't match up. So I would challenge, like, you know, try to go back and look at that, and I'm happy to tell about it. But I did want to, I thought everything else made sense, and I, again, appreciate it. But the fact that didn't seem to get answered, that is a piece of it.
Okay. We have a lot of other areas on our campuses that we are greening and trying to increase the greening. But where we have the biggest challenges on the play fields, and the other place we have challenges is under play structures. Those we don't have the appropriate fall protection. And we even tried some engineered wood to try that, and it didn't work. We actually had injuries. So that's where we do use rubber and chrome things, because we just don't have the appropriate fall protection. But we've been adding grass. We have plans to add grass and other natural surfaces that have that same quality, but on our campuses.
It just sounds like something great to share with the visual.
Okay, the last quick question, and then we got some more business.
I mean, I just think if you're saying the money that's out, same over 20 years, and the other point is that the cost of sand grass all day, every day, it seems incongruent to advocate for turf just because of some bureaucratic accounting issue. So it just doesn't make a ton of sense.
He asked that question. I don't advocate for turf just because it's about money. It's not about, you know, it's about play hours. It's about how many hours we have kids outside playing. With the grass field, we should play at only 1,000 hours. We use our elementary school fields at least 2,000 to 2,500 hours a year. A synthetic turf field, we play 4,000 hours a year. It's about how much play we get out. It's not about, money is one of 10 things you can look at. Like, I would say
over 20 years, one is just coming out of the general fund, one is coming out of the
Yeah.
fund. So.
Yeah, I mean, funding is one of, as I've said, and every time I've ever talked about this, you can balance a lot of things, grass and turf all the way, this one, that one, it balances. But the one place where our grass fields don't win is how many playable hours. And to us, to me, I would say getting kids out playing is the most important thing that you do.
If I can just add, because I remember reading this part, so I just pulled it out. It was the cost per hour. The synthetic turf is a third of the cost. And it's in here, $79 versus $203 an hour.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming. I think what we'll do, we'll send out another email and just be like, hey, based on what we heard, like, is there, you know, revisit this. So.
Good, I think that if it passed with hardly any discussion when we joined in on the letter, and it's a very complicated issue. I happen to hate plastic grass, fake grass, but it's a money issue that we really need to help the district deal with.
Great. All right, I know that Patty has some topics.
Thank you. put together.
Okay, we have what, 10 minutes left? 8. Did you want to? I'll see you. Yeah, we have 4. All right, first of all, we're going to have a mixer on the 20th. And that's a wonderful thing. The last mixer was very nice, but the problem is we were paying for the alcohol beverages out of a separate kind of money because we can't do it with, the city says we cannot pay it out of anything that could be city funded. And the alcoholic beverages were considerably more than the food, which I found very interesting. So I'm hoping that we could maybe either not pay for alcoholic beverages or pay for only their draft beer and their wine, but not give everyone a ticket that they can go and say, I want this drink, I want that. This is too much money.
Personally, I feel that with other events that I've done, non-OPA, things that I've been to at Lula, for instance, other events that happen to be there, is that everyone, it's always been an open bar, meaning people buy on their own. I think there's nothing wrong with us supplying non-alcoholic drinks, soda, if that's and appetizers, and letting people buy alcohol completely on their own, not on our dime at all.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone's going to care. I don't think anyone's going to be mad at OPA. I don't think it'll draw less people to come. If they do, then that's on them. But I think food appetizers, that's on us. Let's get a round of appetizer, however much that's going to be. But everything else, no host bar.
All right.
That's it.
Well, he's been organizing.
Should
this,
we have a motion about that?
Yeah, was there any other discussion?
Yeah, is there any-
Okay. Yeah, the other, and I'm trying to think if I don't even think I had a drink when I was there. The other way to do it would be like cap it and say the first 200 or.
Well, see that, I think that gets a little murky if someone's late and then, oh, what am I saying? It's just like, if you just remove it completely.
Yeah,
everybody's okay.
I agree.
I have no problem.
I mean,
Just so you have your prices.
If it says a drink, it already says a drink on what was put out in the newsletter today.
Oh, it was. I didn't
Yes.
see that. I removed it from the flyer. Right.
So we could handle doing soda or water or whatever, non-alcoholic, not non-alcoholic beer or wine, just non-alcoholic drinks.
Okay.
Where is it, the sponsor? And
It's at Lula again.
can we ask them to like just sponsor this last one since if it already,
It didn't say anything about what kind of drink, and actually.
if that
Probably pay for the job.
I don't know, just a thought that somebody might, they might want to sponsor it or.
Well, I don't. The thing is, when
I
they're
haven't-
there,
I haven't
I
been
have to pay, I pay for it with our credit cards.
Yes.
And then I have to hide it. What I paid for alcohol, it had to be. Now, I'm saying that at our party or whatever, we can just go nuts.
So let's just have a motion to not pay for anybody's alcohol.
Yeah, let's see what happens, all right? Do we have that? We got that motion. Tony, are you seconding? Okay, anybody opposed? All those in favor? Not everybody. Okay. Anyway, okay, thank you, Connie. Anything else?
Did you want,
Yeah.
to do something about,
I did want to talk about technology. So,
okay,
yeah, we'll make it quick. All right, so as we all know, the kind of transition from wild apricot to beehive has been difficult. We've had several people that have attempted to take a look at the data and then make it so that things would work. Ultimately, what I would say is it's boiled down to time. And, so a couple months ago, Sean had the idea that we, pay to have somebody kind of like make it right. And, based on the amount of back and forth emails that are taking place, it seems like the right way to do it. So we've got a proposal. It's more than $200, which is the, kind of,
That's
vote-
it, but you need a vote for.
vote sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, the quote that we got was $750 to essentially get it so that it's working. That's really, go ahead.
$750, and then we can stop wild apricot, which costs us how much?
Wild apricot costs $300 a month now that we've taken some of them.
Okay.
Wild apricot does everything that I needed to do, and I love it. So I am just, whatever happens, if wild apricot goes away, I'm not gonna handle membership.
Well, so,
So $3,600 a year, we can solve that by spending $750.
Yeah, well, you're gonna have to pay that too. Beehive isn't free.
No, we're already paying Beehive.
yep, so we're paying for Beehive, we're paying for wild apricot. And this is a step in the direction. We love what Patty does, so we want to make sure that she's very happy with the way that Beehive is giving the information. We still think that it could be a better solution, but we haven't implemented it correctly.
So we should leave it alone? Is that?
Well, so so if you think about that, then say for the next 5 years, we would spend $18,000 on a second system. So what we're proposing is that we spend the $750, we get it so that Beehive can do what we think it can do, and then we have the conversation about whether it makes sense to just go to one solution, which most people would, think would be, but it's people matter too in terms of everybody's comfort using the system, what we can do. So like that needs to be up to par. So that's, yeah,
So just to summarize, because we got a minute left, so we're gonna spend $750 essentially per consultant to get the system to where Beehive to where it's supposed to be, so that we can try it out to see if it works for the membership platform. So $750 one-time fee, and they're gonna do everything. Do we have a contract for it?
yeah, there's an agreement. I can forward it along if the one, everyone wants to take a look. But yeah, that's what it is.
It's pretty vague as to that it's working. I mean, are you happy with, the bee, how do you know the Beehive does all of this stuff? I mean, it seems very vague.
Well, we took the effort to implement it, like we did implement it. The data got imported incorrectly the first time, so then it was kind of a project. Anders
saved 45 different things that I took 4 hours to get put into wild apricot.
Yeah, I was trying, do you want to add anything?
No.
What that came out was basically just a black hole. It's falling into a black hole. There is nothing coming out of it now.
Well,
You're going to have to do a lot of work to get that stuff right, because right now it's working. My wild apricot, our wild apricot is working fine, and it can do a lot of different things. And you can always tell what's happening.
Robbie, can I just recommend that we share with the board the scope of services,
Yep.
the cost, all that, and then we vote on it next month? Do we need to do this today? Because I don't I wouldn't vote on either way without seeing.
Yeah, we'll get, okay, so I think we could absolutely get the contract across. I think that we should do it sooner than later personally, because there are, among the executive board members, there are probably, I don't know, 20 emails a month. So you agree?
Huh?
How many emails a month?
No, just in terms of issue. Here's what I'd say. From my observation,
is I think that while they provide us better as a membership management platform, Beehive is better as a newsletter sending platform. I personally do not think that Beehive has the capabilities that we need, and there's also a training component that we don't have. Patty likes Wiley as a membership platform. Sean likes Beehive as the newsletter platform. Ideally, in an ideal world, it would work, and you could do everything out of it. Personally, I'm not convinced that a consultant is going to solve problems. So that's my two cents. Sorry to throw a wrench in here.
No, I mean,
So we're not gonna decide tonight.
Yes, that's probably not, that's not good.
4th of July parade, we're gonna have. And Patty and Sean are gonna battle it out, and the guy in Washington's gonna be really upset. Love it.
Okay, I can commit to sending around, the agreement, we can have more conversation. And yeah, I don't wanna force anyone to do this, but I also want this problem resolved. That's what I want. So, all right, good talk. Anybody else topics? Because we're about at time, go ahead.
Did we ever follow through the grant for more money for Lincoln Boulevard? That was, you talked about last time.
Right, yeah, we sent that, we sent that to the group. Did anybody have feedback? Did I send it to the group?
No, you would send it to the product group.
Okay, I will send it to the group. That's all.
Anyone wants to take some food with you, please?
So,
All right, I think
Lincoln, we should put that back up.
yeah, that's a good point. Okay, so context, there is gonna be an email that comes through. There is a push to do the Lincoln, the link project.
Get the link refunded.
Refunded, which is something that Dave and a few others, on the board have spent a lot of time.
10 years.
Yeah, really trying to make happen. So we need to send this out and then we'll get a vote. But it's basically our support for their efforts. And it doesn't cost us money. I don't think so.
We're gonna work on a letter.
Okay.
There's a template, we can use a template whole process, the same thing for the board to say whether you like.
And we'll revisit that. Thanks for the run. Okay, I think we have a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, I second. Come on, I want a second.
Yeah.
He's totally confused. What do you mean?
She's not going away, she's right here.
Yeah, I'm right here.
Okay, we have to be out of here.
I did. At 8:30. I'm running late.
Because you're always.
Thank you for.
It didn't seem like that. Campaign.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I just say that's a general area. Yeah.
I was out of,
There's just like.
You got a business, you gotta find people that work here. Not actually.
I won next door. Trader Joe's guy.
So in the city, state will just keep going. If the travel is getting sharp, that's probably just like when you see. I think like you just get pitted in it. I get stuck on one with a lot. I saw the lane and I ran out of it. I said, oh yeah. I thought I was a vaccinator. And then somebody was on the roadway. I was in the car, it's like on the phone, smoking a cigarette, and the traffic. Somebody opens the door, you're in the traffic. There's no.
I was just trying to make sure your question got answered. And that's where that's- I think they're not making their case. They're not presenting their case. Like this. And isn't where.
Do you want me to turn this off?
Oh, yeah, that'd be great. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
There we go.
Much better.
Yeah.